student percentages. The red color is F, the pinkish D, the orange is a C, green B, blue is an A, but probably most importantly is gray, missing or incomplete grades. I just looked at my semester 1 missing or incomplete grades. One of the key things that I've noticed was students may have forgotten to turn in their missing work. The teacher may have forgotten to grade it. But now the parent is very upset because those I's have now turned to F's. So I was able to use this data, be reflective, and currently one of the things that we're working on is our retake, redo procedures. We really did not have a consistent campus-wide retake, redo. If a student wants to redo an assignment, is it full credit? Is it half credit? So we're using this data. I'm going to bring in my student council, also my parent, our P3strg council, and as well as teachers. We're going to discuss what is fair and equitable for our retake and redo policy. But one of the key things with the incompletes, especially we had an instance where a teacher had to go out on maternity leave. We thought she did the grades, the next teacher, so it just really created a lot of confusion. By being able to drill down, we were able to see this teacher has 6% with incomplete grades. That's a problem. The actual student grade report, this is still a teacher report. This is a fake teacher report, and it's showing that 55% of this teacher's class in geometry, they have a D, okay? Now, that's a good conversation with the teacher. Do we have a teacher issue, or do we have a student issue? So with Tableau, once you click on this, it automatically brings you up to a tab to where you can look at current grades or students' historical grades. So this is a student's report card. We see this student is C, D, C, C, which is also a different teacher point, talking point that I know we're working on. I'm probably telling all my business, but we do a lot of credit recovery and intervention packets for students who are on the D and F side. And oftentimes we get so focused on students with D's and F's that we forget about those students with C's that really should be A and B students. And then we find ourselves in a parent conference and parents say, well, why haven't you called me? Well, and then the teacher responds, well, he had a C. And that's where we have to have that mind shift change from excellence has to be an expectation, not the exception. So I think sometimes we get so comfortable with people just passing that it does not check on the radar. This particular student is C and D student. Okay? With Tableau, we're able to drill down by a click of a button. I don't have to go to historical reports. I'm in the same dashboard. Click down, I can track this student all the way back to 2007. Notice this is an ABC student in math, AB student in math, ABC student in math. So this is not a D student, but he's making D's in the geometry class. So let's talk about transition. Middle school courses to high school. A lot of times the dialogue is, what are they teaching at the middle school? Okay. But by arming teachers with the information, the teacher can easily look at this information and see, okay, there's a problem. Okay. This clearly, we need to connect with this student.
So this slide, this is one of our favorite pieces, is the student profile. So in Tableau, you can go and look up a student and you can find out all the historical information that you have on that one student. That includes his attendance data, behavior data, the MCT assessment that the child has taken, any assessment like math. This example here doesn't have any, but all of that will be populated right there. So what have you noticed here in this child's historical attendance? in 2012, something happened.
Mhm.
Because that child missed 40 days that year. Also in 2013, that child missed 49 days. So something happened in the child's life. So as a counselor, when he or she pulls up that student profile, they can begin a conversation about trying to figure out what's the root cause. If you don't get to the root cause of what's causing children to not be successful, you will never fix it. So this helps us to inform a conversation. Also, you notice the student behavior change. 41 referrals, 10 referrals, 1 behavior change in 13. All of that helps you to have a conversation about what happened. You know, go back and look, and if you can find. So the kids have been with us since we had data from 2009. So you can go back and then start having a conversation and trying to figure out what happened to the child that may have caused that. Now, this is a great piece for us. Every teacher has access to it. Every counselor has access to the profile. So it's instant information right there. And just think what a powerful conversation that is with a parent. Print out their profile and put it in his or her hand, in their hands, and have this conversation about the student. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's a powerful conversation because it's right there. We are using this piece with our attendance officer. We have gotten a date with our city court to deal with truancy. And one of the things that we were hearing was the parents are going in and saying, well, this is my first time my child has missed all these days. I don't know what the school is talking about. They are records or something must not be accurate because my child is here, been here. This is, we don't know, but we're not gonna miss any days anymore. But when we give this historical piece to the judge, in many cases they're able to see 4 years of poor behavior, poor attendance. You know, they immediately take action. So it takes away the question. It takes away the question of the doubt whether the school system is doing what we're supposed to do as related to that. So anytime there's an issue, we can see attendance it needs an intervention, and behavior is at 33 for this year. Now this is year to date. This is year to date here. So this kid has 33 referrals. So we are saying current behavior is on track, but the intervention is attendance is certainly an intervention. So we have all that information, student grades and things of that nature.
Harrisburg Public Schools, we have 6 elementary schools that feed into 1 middle school, 1 high school. I probably would venture to say most of our discipline issues or student issues come from students that have attended more than 2 of our elementary schools. In most cases, the students move faster than their paperwork. So by the time their TST or RTI folder makes it to a different school, they've enrolled back in your school and moved to the 3rd school. So by using this, you're able to actually connect the pieces and drill back and see, okay, what happened in fiscal year 2011 to have that dialogue with that particular student. Another powerful piece is when you're speaking to parents. This is a, what grade? Was it 5th grade? This is a 6th grade student that does not have 6th grade experience. Missed 121 days out of 180 days. Now in a minute we're going to talk about teacher attendance. So when you tie that 121 student absences to all the teacher absences during this time frame, you probably end up with a 6th grader with only 3rd grade classroom experience.
So this is a piece that we just recently moved into that Tableau allows us to come up with a teacher effectiveness approach. So mainly when we look at our teachers, we look at the proficiency bands. Here's a teacher with 48% of the kids in minimum, 14 in basic, 29% in proficient, and 7.3% in advanced. So we're able to look at those bands. and see, that's what we normally do. What we do in Hattiesburg, we recognize our teachers that have 60% of proficient in advanced every year. That's one of our teacher retention pieces that we have. We recognize those teachers that reach that band. But with the teacher's effectiveness, we're able to analyze 2 years' effects of a teacher. For an example, this is overlaying 2012-13 over 14. This teacher had, these were the proficient kids, but 45% of those kids she lost to minimum, to basic. 45% of the kids that were proficient in 13 was lost to basic. They was proficient in 13, and in 14, only 55% of the 100% that she had that was proficient. So very seldom we look at that. We don't do the overlay to see how the teacher was able to do from year to year with the students. So as you can see, this teacher here did a better job with her proficient kids. She also lost 22% of them, but also she moved 11.1% of them into advanced. So that's the difference between the 2 years. She lost 22% of the proficient band here. She held on to 66.7% of them, and she moved 11.1% of them into advanced. So that's the overlaying of the 2 years data. That's how we're able to look to see at how effective was the teacher in moving the kids on where they were from the previous year. And that's very powerful when we have that conversation with our teachers. Teachers, they're able to go back and be reflective. We talk about 3 things in our district, and that's focus, reflection, and collaboration. That's a focus point, that's a reflection opportunity, and also it causes them to collaborate with teachers like this to figure out what they can do better in order to maintain more of their students. They start collaborating together and say, what did you do in order to maintain more of your students in proficiency? So that's a very key piece for us in our teacher effectiveness. We're able to overlay the data like that to just a click of a button. There's nothing that we have to do, it's just a click of a button.
Ms. Mack, can we go back to that one? I know oftentimes, especially with QDI, we would definitely praise this teacher. But if you notice they lost 10%, then the teacher would say, well, hey, it's only 2 students, okay? What I like to do is personalize it. Okay, let's say these 2 students, this is your son, this is your daughter, this is your niece, this is your nephew. Now explain to me, how do you have that conversation with yourself of a